Hello, and welcome to this week's episode. I'm your host, Michael Sanders. If you enjoy this type of content, please like, subscribe, and share with others who would like this type of show. It really helps this channel out a lot. Now, today, we are talking about COVID-19 again. It seems that just when we think it has stabilized, we realize that it is still in the news. This time, though, it is not about cases or even deaths. It's about getting everyone vaccinated. There is much debate about whether or not to get vaccinated. That's kind of the big question, and we'll try and answer a little bit of that today. Now, we are nearing the point in the disease cycle where enough of the world population is getting vaccinated to where the disease is not going to be termed a pandemic anymore. Keep our fingers crossed, and let's hope that that happens a lot sooner as opposed to later, right? Now, I have covered in a previous episode that we need to vaccinate 70 to 80% of the world population in order for everyone else to become more resistant to the disease. History has shown that if you get enough of the world immunized against a disease, it becomes another of the long line of diseases that we as a world have learned to fight. So why do we still have controversy about getting vaccinated? Well, first of all, let me start by discussing ways to fight a virus. There is a new way to fight the virus that they've just developed in recent times. Now, two of the vaccines that I have discussed in the previous episode have been developed differently than the others you may be aware of. They are called mRNA vaccines, and the products created by Pfizer, Moderna, and BioNTech have been developed this very way. Now, what is the difference, you may ask? Well, mRNA vaccines are developed by recognizing what is called a spike protein that is found on the surface of a virus. This provokes an immune response similar to using a weakened version of the virus, okay? But contains, I repeat, contains no virus. So vaccines just like the Pfizer, Moderna, and BioNTech are extremely safe. Now, on the one side of the coin, there are the people who are still hesitant about getting vaccinated. They're worried about getting sick. It is understandable, but today's vaccines, like the ones I mentioned earlier, eliminate the risk. Now, on the other side of the coin, there are people who want to make sure they get vaccinated despite whatever risk they may perceive from how the vaccine was made. They are part of the 70 or 80% that will help make the world population more resistant to this latest pandemic. Now, at this point in time, do we really have a choice, guys? In a word, no, we really don't. The government has the right to compel people to get vaccinated. A lot of you know this, some of you don't know this. There are certain precedents that refer to this situation, okay? I'll quote some of the court cases over the years that have addressed this very issue, and you guys can draw your own judgments upon it. Now, the first one was a case of Jacobson versus Massachusetts. Now, this was a case settled in 1905 at the height of the smallpox plague. It challenged the 14th Amendment due process rights. Now, the judges in this case ruled that the local health authorities could compel adults to get the vaccination. The judges concluded that states, under their general police powers, had the ability to enact laws to protect citizens. These powers allowed state government to enact vaccine laws to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the public. That's the first one. Now, another case occurred in 1922. Same type of situation. It was smallpox again. It was Zooked, if I said it wrong, I apologize, versus King, and this was in 1922. The court arrived at a similar conclusion where schools could exclude students who were not vaccinated from attending school. Even in recent times, if you're thinking, oh, that's old hat, these are old cases, well, recently, as a matter of fact, on August 2nd of this year, actually, the judges ruled in the case that a college could do the same in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic by excluding students who were not vaccinated. So as you see, they can do it. You may not like it, but they can do it. Okay. Now, what this means, though, is despite your reservations, like it or not, we must get vaccinated if they compel us to do so. When it comes to public safety, health, and welfare, the government has the right to protect its citizens. I know that this really bothers some of you guys, but the best way to think about it is to look at it from their point of view, and you may understand why it is the way it is. Okay? That's my soapbox. I wish I had more of an back and forth, two side of the coin type thing, but the situation just doesn't warrant it in this case. Okay? I will see you guys in my next section for my questions and answers. Bye now. Hello and welcome back. Well, I hope the last section didn't bum you guys out about having a choice about the vaccine or not, but I do hope the last section was informative and entertaining. As always, if you would like more information on anything that I covered in this episode, drop me a line in the comments. Okay? Now, as for today, I have no questions from you guys, but I do have a question for you today. Okay? Now, what do you guys think of the precedents that have allowed the local and federal government to compel you to get vaccinated or suffer the consequences? Do you believe that the 14th Amendment of due process is being violated even though the government is approaching the COVID-19 pandemic as a public safety issue? Finally, what do you think of having no choices in the matter? I know a lot of people don't like it, but this is how it is. Now, if you have anything to add or say, or you want to tell me, just let me know in the comments. On to the last part of the show and my final thoughts for this episode. Take care. Welcome back to my final thoughts. Now, my final thoughts for the day are as follows. I believe vaccination is the key to vanquishing this latest pandemic. We are approaching the 70 or 80% needed to finally be resistant to the COVID-19 virus. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there, okay? Now, as to the 14th Amendment right for due process, when it is a matter of public safety and anything harmful to the population, there comes a time when we need to do what is morally right for the safety of everyone. Now, I strongly encourage everyone to get vaccinated because it's real important. Now, briefly, today we discussed the new ways in which some of our current vaccines are made. As a result of this technology, vaccinations are safer and more effective without compromising our health, which I know is good news for a lot of people. Now, I did discuss the 14th Amendment right to due process and explain that in matters of public safety, it should not apply. Finally, I explained that we are approaching the point needed to fully be resistant to the virus. Like I said before, we're getting there, but we're not there yet, okay? Now, next week, I'm going to discuss the latest information on immigration and the issues we are facing right now, and there are a lot. Tune in to see what I think of all of this. Now, this episode's going to be entitled Immigration Floodgate. You'll see why when we talk about it next week. Now, as always, I want you guys to be safe, be careful, be open-minded, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye now.